So what we have right now is Jonathan and Sulika and Mohammed. And I wanted to, sorry, I just got so mesmerized by this. We are going deep these days in lots of different things. And you just heard from Nathan. You heard from some of the strikes that we've done. You also just heard from UTLA and some of the outcomes of strikes in terms of community schools. These fights, and I said this in my in the speech, it feels like an eternity ago, but we don't just hope this happens, we make this happen. This doesn't just happen by magic, and it doesn't just happen by wishing. It happens because of real community partnerships. And I'm glad that Nathan was here talking about and raising deep objection to what governors like Youngkin and DeSantis and others are doing to try and weaponize that anxiety that all of us have about the last few years and trying to pit parents and teachers against each other. There's no two sides of this issue. We're parents, we're educators, we're caregivers, we're school staff, even administrators. We're working together to support kids. And what we want to try to do now is we want to try to talk a little bit more about what this campaign, how we deepen this work in places that are not yet doing it as intentionally as the places you've heard already. We're trying to deepen this work, and we're trying to create these kind of models. And so we've asked Jonathan, Sulika, and Mohammed to really talk about what that work looks like. And Mohammed is a student activist. Sulika, from those of you from Boston Justice, you know Sulika, and she just got an award at the Bayard-Rustin luncheon yesterday. We want them to talk about what this work looks like. And as part of the campaign, the What Kids Need campaign, the What Communities Need campaign that you heard me announce on Thursday, you heard Nathan refer to today, we're launching this new powerful partnership institute. I wouldn't be able to say that 5 times fast, which will support AFT affiliates that are building strong union, parent, and community engagement programs in our classrooms and our communities. And look, we know that to build this capacity, we need sustainable funding. We need to seed internal and external organizing work. We need to provide differentiated training. Don't you hate the training that starts with the same training all the time? And we know we need to meet our affiliates' needs in terms of this work. And so we're trying to do all of this. And we're doing it with about 20 grants to AFT locals, totaling, it's in the budget already, to about $1.5 million to strengthen this muscle, to build relationships, to engage and organize with parents and students and community. We know we all want it, and we know it's not easy, and we want to build the muscle to do it because our communities need it, and as you just heard from Marcia, it's up to us. They are coming for us. We see it. Believe them when they tell us that they do not want public education, because they know that if they get public education, then they get democracy. Believe them when they tell us this. And so without further ado, now let me introduce Jonathan and our colleagues.
Thank you, Annie. Appreciate it. Hello. Thank you. My name is Jonathan Rodriguez. I work in our Human Rights Department, and I wanted to tell you a little bit more about our Powerful Partnerships Institute. We build powerful partnerships to sustain and build the schools, the campuses, the hospitals, the communities we deserve. And this is not new work, right? This is an expansion, a double down of this work, but this is not new work. I want to shout out the great work happening in Connecticut that just this week won in Wyndham Federation of Teachers, the Whoosh Coalition that folks built, won from the state regulator saying, no, you cannot close down the maternity ward in your hospital. You have to open it. And they did that with community support, with our members fighting back together with patients, right? In our higher ed perspective, with CUNY Rising and PSC fighting back with students for a CUNY New Deal. PEF with Fund Our Future. I wanted to shout out our Houston folks that unfortunately couldn't be here last minute, but is fighting back around teaching the truth, around gun violence. You saw a beautiful video around that yesterday. And in just a second, introducing the two wonderful, wonderful folks behind me. This work, like I said, is taking our work to the next level. I won't take too much more time. I want to invite folks to visit us at the Powerful Partnerships Institute table. Some of y'all have seen us already. Access our toolkit, regardless of the grants, at aftelearning.org/parent engagement, aftelearning.org/parent engagement. There will be the toolkit. There will be where you can access to find the application, access the next steps. But this work is work that we do every single day, building with our parents, our community, and we need to take it to the next level because we see so many forces trying to divide us. We know that is not the truth, as we just learned, and we know that we can build the internal and external organizing to beat back any challenges that come our way. Let me introduce Zuleika Soto. She's a wonderful parent activist at the Boston Education Justice Alliance, a partner, a friend. I wanted to invite her to just speak a few words on how we fight here in Boston around that. And following her, we have Mohammed Mutakim, who organizes with the Michigan Education Justice Coalition and 482 Forward. This is wonderful organizing on campus as a student organizer in what they've won, working together with our locals. Thank you. Zuleika.
Hello, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Or good morning, right? I think it's still morning. My name is Zuleika Soto, and I am a parent organizer for the Boston Education Justice Alliance. Thank you. In my role, I work with parents to encourage them and uplift them to raise their voice, to partner with educators, students, and other community members and other parents to try to fight together for, a more democratic, for a better quality schools for our students. The most recent fight that I want to sit here and testify about was the fight that we won against state intervention of the Boston Public Schools most recently. I would say in the eve of closing down for the pandemic, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education here in Massachusetts gave the Boston Public Schools a really bad review, saying that, we weren't doing what we had to do to support our students. But we as parents, educators, and community voices know that that's not the truth, right? They wanted to take control of our schools. There has never been any evidence that state control, especially from our Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, has helped any school district improve. And we know that the solutions to improve on the quality of education for our students lies with us, right? The families, the educators, the communities, and the students. So they did the review, and teachers have been working very, very hard during this pandemic to educate the students, to figure out how to do it remotely, how to do it hybrid, how to do it in person. And it was really, really tough trying to navigate the system. And then after 2 years, they decided that we had not made enough improvement despite the pandemic, although we did. So we had to work very, very closely as a community. We came together as AFT. There was a lot of AFT members, the Boston Teachers Union, Boston Education Justice Alliance, and tons of other community voices with the students of the Boston Student Advisory Council. So we started to meet weekly. What are we going to do about this state intervention? We met on a weekly basis, and we plan to go and uplift our voices. They do not try to make it easy for us. They hold their meetings on a Tuesday morning at 8:30 in the morning, when students and teachers are in the classrooms, where parents are at work. But we showed them that we would be up at that meeting every single month until they decided that that's not what they were going to do, that was not the right solution. So for the last meeting, I'll end here. The last meeting, they thought that we figured that they were probably going to take a vote. They were going to have the meeting in Wellesley, which is about 45 minutes away from Boston. So we decided that we were going to go up to Wellesley, right? They already made it hard, but as students, teachers, educators, we were all there, and we said, let's go to Wellesley, let's show them what we can do. So when they found out in Wellesley that they had 2 busloads of Bostonians, right, coming over to Wellesley to protest the state intervention, they switched it up on us. They did it the day before. They moved it here to Boston. The capacity for the room was only 25 people. We had 2 busloads of folks, right, ready to go. But then we had to do what we had to do. The BTU and the folks that had booked the buses we quickly pivoted to have the rally in Boston, where they were going to be. They did not want to let us in. Again, it was a 25-person capacity, but we crowded the room. We crowded the hallways. We were outside. These were students, these were parents, these were families, these were educators, and we showed them what we had. The next meeting, we were going to do it all over again. We were ready. You know, they had to, we were trying to make sure that this does not happen. I mean, top-down control does not work. We want more democracy, not bureaucracy. We know, again, that the solutions come from us, right? We have the solutions. So when we went, they finally decided to hash out an agreement with the mayor one day before their last meeting, which was the day when school ended. The last day of school, they just forming, and they were not going to take over our schools. So yeah, so we won, but we still showed up at the meeting, right? Yes, thank you for the agreement, but we still want you to know, as a Department of Elementary Schools, we were all up there. Jessica was up there. I was up there as a parent, the mayor. We really, really showed them what powerful partnerships can do. And we did, you know, we did all of that, and they did not take over our schools. And I just wanted to show you, like, parent, teacher, students, partnerships shows them what we can do, right? United we stand, divided we fall. So I just would encourage everyone to really try to engage us as parents, and let's work together to make sure that we get the quality of education that our students deserve. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. In other words, may peace be upon you. My name is Mohammed Muntakim. I'm coming to you from the greatest city in America, the city of resilience and hustle. I'm a community organizer with 482 Forward in the city of Detroit, where we focus on education justice. And I'm here to just share a quick story of how collective community helped make a big win for Detroit Public Schools. I'm a former product of Detroit Public Schools Community District, and as high schoolers in 2018, we launched a campaign to get our school district to observe the Muslim holidays of Eid. And And as we progressed, we realized that our efforts were not acknowledged without the support of community. So we went to the grounds collecting community support in forms of different aspects of holding community town halls, collecting petitions, engaging in sessions where we invited folks from both our Teachers Federation and then also the school district. And once we got support from our collective communities, a big component of that was our Detroit Federation of Teachers, where we went into space, where we educated our teachers about our community. We shared our collective commitment to being more inclusive and accepting. Once we got that support, we were able to get that win. After 3 years of organizing with Detroit Federation of Teachers and other community partners, this past year, Detroit Public Schools Community District observed the Eid holidays in their school calendar for the very first time. And that work continues on behalf of 482 Forward and our partner at Michigan Education Justice Coalition. We want to say that work continues of making education more accessible and equitable in our state. We have very great upcoming initiatives that we're working on currently, beating DeVos in the voucher campaign, working across the state with school board elections, and most importantly, creating a collective base of students, teachers, and parents to build for future campaigns. So I just want to come on here and acknowledge AFT for their support and their commitment to engaging students and parents in conversations like these. And I look forward to working together to help build Detroit, in the city of Detroit and in the state of Michigan, make education a bit more accessible, a bit more just, and a bit more equitable. Thank you.